Hero shooters have been prevalent in the gaming sphere for roughly a decade now, rising to the higher tiers of notoriety with Overwatch back in 2016. Ever since, many have come and gone, with most not standing the test of time and being inevitably shut down or cancelled right before release. And some are conquered. But in 2024, a game would be released that, as far as I'm aware, has knocked Overwatch from its throne. I've never been one for hero shooters or competitive shooters in general. It isn't my go-to genre of game, and with the current state of Marvel and pretty much all forms of media, I noted the release and then continued to ignore all the updates and praise this game received, just out of pure apathy. But recently I've been struggling to avoid this, and with a load of favourite Marvel characters being playable, I decided to at least give it a go. So, can I be ushered into the world of hero shooters, or will I Thanos snap it and move on to other games? I'm TSM, and I finally played Marvel Rivals. Marvel Rivals is a brilliantly bombastic game with a huge roster of fan favourites and more unknown characters. Players are broken off into teams or solo play and choose an individual hero to go and do battle across a variety of maps. Each map feels vastly unique and provides the opportunity to employ a wide array of strategies to snatch victory from the opposing team, whether you're taking to the skies as Iron Man or charging through rooms with relentless gunfire as the Punisher. It always leads to an absolutely insane display of powers and weapons on your screen. Since there doesn't appear to be much going in the way of story like a normal game would have, at least from what I could see outside of external works, that means energy can be spent completely on things that matter to the people who play these types of games. The gameplay and the way it looks. And Marvel Rivals shines on both of these counts. Rivals is gorgeous. The art style chosen supports so much of what makes it what it is. NetEase have been able to exaggerate character designs and skins through the setting of the game thanks to the style and the over-top nature of hero shooters. The men are like 80s action stars, pure muscle with both bulky and lean builds depending on the character. Punisher, Cap and Thor are absolute beefcakes, while Spider-Man and Iron Fist are lean without being weedy and still look like they could easily kick my ass. The women are sensual and curvy, designs not afraid to show exuberant amounts of skin or to showcase the female form through skin-tight outfits. Both genders are objectified equally, just in different forms, and that's exactly what people like me have been preaching for years now. We don't mind if a guy takes his shirt off if he's been killing it in the gym for months, just stop covering and faking the women while the guys are all that's apparently allowed to be looked at objectively. Comics and video games are not real life, and Rivals takes full advantage of that fact. NetEase saw the backlash in gaming for making characters good looking and ignored the fuck out of it. Well done! The way Marvel Rivals plays is also a testament to game design. Having a roster of now over 50 characters can make some feel like they're forgotten or lazily put together, but each character that I played as felt unique in their own way. The roster is broken up into different classes that prioritise attack, defense, support or subversion. Charge in guns blazing to distract the enemy from a portal being opened by Doctor Strange at the other side of the map to flank positions. Hold by a healer to make steady progress through waves of respawning opponents. Have special team-ups with different characters for unique attacks or to amplify existing ones. Hulk thunder-cunting Wolverine like a Wii remote into my TV, for example. I was deeply impressed by the vast selection of how each felt like a new experience, even if some are there to serve similar purposes. I found myself initially gravitating towards my favourites, and that helped improve my experience beyond just the game itself. Since I suffer from monkey brain, I ended up settling on the Punisher as my go-to. Guns and grenades and more guns! There are characters that require a hell of a lot more skill to use and to master as opposed to pull trigger and gun go brrr, but I have fun using him. I like being able to swap from an assault rifle to a shotgun if you find yourself in close quarters. His stationary turret can lay down some good suppressing fire, his smoke grenade acts as a good retreat attack to help you get out of a tricky spot, and his ultimate is just the Second Amendment on crack. Iron Man provides a nice switch up to ranged combat by attacking from the skies with repulsors and missiles. His movement adding more food for thought for repositioning and going on the offensive. I like having good AoE attacks that can support more central focus characters to assist in a takedown or clear space for them to maneuver that he can provide. Unfortunately, I found him a bit slow in movement in terms of his vertical and lateral, and his fast flight a bit hard to control in certain arenas, but he's fun to play as overall. Gambit's moveset was tricky to try and figure out. He seems to focus more on buffing and healing than outright damage, and it didn't really feel all that good for me to play as him. He probably has a lot more depth than I'm giving credit for, but the time I had open to make this video, it didn't allow for in-depth experimenting with him. His staff can be used to zoom in for a small in-front slam, or his cards are used as range attacks with the buff cards for team and damage to the enemy. I think he could be cool to learn, but I just didn't have the time. And like Gambit, it's a shame I couldn't really get to grips with Daredevil. Him being probably my favourite character in Marvel, ignoring what Disney has been doing to him recently. I just couldn't get the hang of his movement or his moveset. He's primarily going to be up close and personal with the enemy, and I just found myself constantly getting butt-fucked. I had a look on YouTube for some assistance on how he's supposed to be used, and I just got swamped in terminology I will never have the time to understand. I've seen how he can be utilised in that video, so he looks like a cool as hell character to main, but after a few matches of struggling to get to grips with the zipping around and not really getting anywhere, I ended up going back to Monkey Brain. Now when I started doing this video, Cyclops had not been released yet, so I held putting this video out until I had a chance to test drive my favourite X-Man. His reveal trailer was actually the main reason I downloaded Rivals in the first place, and his showcase of his movement made me even more interested. Cyclops focuses on spreading out damage with various optic blasts. A leap in the air with a hovering effect can help with aerial combat, a pretty handy retreat with constant damage that I think is better than Punisher's smoke grenade retreat. His super, I think, leaves a little bit to be desired. I like the after explosion, but instead of a cone area of effect, to get a multi-kill, you kind of have to rely on the enemy being in almost a single file line, which is perfect for a tight map, but in open areas, you might find yourself using it and getting an underwhelming effect. The range is absolutely disgusting though. Now since Cyclops has just been released, everyone is clambering to play as the guy, so I could only get PvP footage from an 18v18 mode, where there were so many lasers flying around it looked like strobe lights in a nightclub. But I actually think I prefer what I played with Cyclops to the Punisher. He's got increased movement and spread damage. I could see myself learning Cyclops casually once everyone's calmed down. But bugger me, he needs to be nerfed. I know it's hard to balance a new character when first launched, but holy mother of God, he seems a bit busted right now. Now while PvP is not my normal go-to, Rivals does offer PvE experiences, the most obvious being the PvP modes, but against varying difficulty levels of enemy bots. There's the training area where you can practice and test out character movesets to help hone skill and maybe choose a go-to favourite, and, at least at the time of recording this video, a pretty fun horde mode called Blood Hunt. Apparently I missed one based on Marvel Zombies, which is a shame because I love shooting zombies, but vampires are the next best thing. I'm a big fan of stupidly over-the-top horde modes in games, just a small team carving through literal waves of enemies with overpowered abilities, and just seeing numbers and blood fly. Blood Hunt takes a team of 4 through an overrun New York where you have to take out multiple waves of enemies. The higher the difficulty, the further you have to go before you complete the level. Then Nightmare Mode locks you in a certain area of that map, where you have to survive rounds of enemies rather than make your way to somewhere before being transported to another arena to fight a boss. Equipment drops are rampant, so you can customize a select few characters chosen for this mode with different abilities and choose where to invest that points and weapon upgrades. Now, if I was to criticise anything in general, I'd say the UI and the layout of the menus aren't all that intuitive in my opinion. The home screen can be a bit confusing to navigate, and the hero select wheel hides certain heroes among all the others. I wish there was just a list you could select from, or keep the ones you want in like a favourites menu to hotkey to. If there is a feature like this, I couldn't find it. Then there's the matchmaking, and in all my gaming life I still don't know how this works, but you will inevitably be placed into a game where someone on either team should be playing on ranked and leave the more casual players like me on quick play. Matchmaking never makes a good first impression. You are either going to stomp or get stomped by someone who really needs to get outside and touch grass after showering off all of the Cheeto dust. Rivals is also subject to the season/battle pass that I think has become a bit of a plague on gaming ever since COD made it its whole identity. There's also in-game currency you can buy for money, and not the MUNNY money from Kingdom Hearts. I'm talking about the green stuff in your bank account. These are used for cosmetics and other styles to bling out your profile. I largely stopped buying into this kind of thing, but hey, it's a free game, so they have to make their money somehow, and like I said, it's only for cosmetics. No one's forcing you to buy a season pass or in-game currency, and it's not like it's being used to buy breaking abilities or bonuses to be used in combat. It's simply there for you to use or interact with if you want to. Truth be told, I can't really fault the season pass or in-game currency really at all, as the game itself, from what I can tell, is purely skill-based. Now with everything being said, I personally didn't have the best time playing Marvel Rivals, but that doesn't make it a bad game. Like I said earlier, I could maybe find myself casually playing as Cyclops every now and then, and I know this game can be insane to play and fun to watch providing the player is skilled and knows their way about. Unfortunately right now, that's not me. Like I said, hero shooters aren't normally my forte, and I simply don't have the time or the energy to invest in this to fully get good. I'm not going to mark Rivals down for this though. The only real problems I have with this game are skill issues, and I have little. You could have one hell of a time with this game though, and I implore you to at least check it out and give it a go if you haven't already. I would recommend filling a party with as many friends as possible, as that will help with the experience if you're wanting to play a bit more casually. If you're going to go for a more hardcore experience, maybe have your mic open, communicate with your team. In the end though, Marvel Rivals, as far as I'm concerned, is an accomplishment. It appeals to everything that competitive gamers want, what casual players can have fun with, and the devs are more than happy to provide. I hope Rivals keeps a healthy player base for a long time, because I think it truly does deserve it. I'll still keep playing, I like the PvE modes, and PvP is always there if I feel like dipping my toes back into the pool. Marvel Rivals is fun, it's good looking, and for a game like this, that's all you need.